Moments of inspiration mixed with time to network, IBJ Media Events has you covered. From industry deep dives to awards celebrating Indiana's top leaders, see what's coming up and reserve your seat at ibj.com/RSVP.
This is Inside Indiana Business Radio for the afternoon of Monday, September 8th, 2025. I'm Alex Brown. The Honda Indiana auto plant in Greensburg is now home to what could be the longest solar pedestrian walkway in the world. Quality Division Lead Jeremy Page says the plant recently completed the 650-foot solar panel-covered walkway that was used to not only provide clean energy for the plant, but also to support its employees.
We were trying to find a way to help our associates be better suited within the elements outside when we walk from our main factory to accessory building that we refer to as the quality building. But we also wanted to support the overall Honda company vision to be carbon neutral by 2050.
The team is now in discussions with Guinness World Records to determine whether the walkway is indeed the longest in the world. Perdue Farms is planning to lay off 293 employees at its turkey production facility in Daviess County. In a notice to the state, the Food and Agriculture Company said it is eliminating the second production shift on October 10th, citing changes in consumer demand, decreasing turkey flocks, and the method in which its products are produced. The National Science Foundation has awarded a nearly $200,000 planning grant to the University of Evansville to explore new ways of strengthening research on campus and regionally. UE plans to use the grant to develop a plan for a future grants development office, which is being established to support faculty research and more closely connect the university with community and business partners. From the number one source for Indiana business news, this is Inside Indiana Business Radio.
Thanks for listening to this IBJ Media podcast. You're probably going to remember this ad. Do you know why? Podcast advertising works. 85% of listeners recalled hearing an ad during a podcast, and 70% of podcast listeners have acted after hearing an ad. So whether you're looking to be heard across the entire IBJ Media podcast network, sponsor one of our shows, or just start with a 30-second ad, IBJ Media can help. Contact advertise at ibj.com to learn more.
The Indiana Department of Education says chronic absenteeism among Indiana students dipped last school year, the third consecutive year of improvement. IIB's Mark Mazurek has more.
Indiana's chronic absenteeism rate dropped slightly to 16.7% last year. That rate has declined by 4.5% since 2022, the year that saw that rate double to over 21% amid the pandemic. The Department of Education said recent data indicates that many students who particularly struggled following the pandemic have improved more quickly than the state overall. The chronic absenteeism rate among Black students improved 1.5%, while the rate among Hispanic students improved 1.2%, and the rate among students who received free or reduced school meals improved 1.7%. The Department of Education defines chronic absenteeism as missing at least 10% of school days, or about 3.5 weeks in the year, with either excused or unexcused absences. Last year, nearly 800 schools had a chronic absenteeism rate of less than 10%. In 2023, that number was fewer than 700. Still, the department reports that 78 schools have more than 50% of students who are chronically absent. Chronic absenteeism continues to be highest in grades 9 through 12, and nearly 1 in 3 Hoosier students are chronically absent during their senior year. I'm Mark Mazurek for Inside Indiana Business Radio.
Greenfield-based Elanco Animal Health says its medicine targeting 6 common pet parasites reached $100 million in sales in just 8 months, the company's fastest pet health blockbuster. Credelio Quattro is a chewable tablet that protects dogs from fleas, ticks, heartworm disease, and 3 risky intestinal parasites, roundworms, hookworms, and tapeworms. The medicine, launched in January, by June had gained 14% of market share from sales through veterinary clinics. The company said it is preparing to take the treatment global, with regulatory submissions in Australia, Canada, the European Union, the United Kingdom, and Japan, setting up product expansion in 2026. As Indianapolis continues to attract major sporting events, the Capital Improvement Board recently announced more than $35 million in upgrades for Lucas Oil Stadium and Victory Field. In an interview on Inside Indiana Business Television, CIB Executive Director Andy Mallon said other cities are chasing Indianapolis and the city needs to keep up.
We are the Capital Improvement Board, and we continually invest in these buildings to make them new all the time. So that they can remain competitive and our sports franchises can do what they do in state-of-the-art facilities every year, not just after major renovation.
Lucas Oil Stadium is expected to receive a $7.5 million upgrade to its Wi-Fi system and switch controls, as well as improvements to food service areas, a dishwasher, an x-ray machine, and safety barriers. Victory Field is also in line to have most of its affixed seats replaced following the 2026 season. Westfield Mayor Scott Willis is this week's guest on the Business and Beyond podcast with Gary Dick, presented by PNC, a weekly conversation with high-profile Hoosiers in business, sports and entertainment, and beyond. Available now on the IBJ Media app or your favorite podcast provider. I'm Alex Brown for Inside Indiana Business Radio on Demand.
Off the Record with Indiana's 250 most influential business and community leaders is a podcast that peels back the curtain on Indiana's most respected leaders, one episode at a time. Go beyond the headlines and hear the stories of grit and innovation that shape these leaders. Do you want to know who's driving our state forward? This is a must listen. Subscribe and listen wherever you get your podcasts or at ibjpodcast.com.
The IBJ Media Podcast Network is the soundtrack of a growing state. Indiana is on the move, and you can hear it happening on the IBJ Media Podcast Network. We bring you the voices at the center of our economy, our courts, our companies, and our communities. Subscribe now and be part of the conversation that's building Indiana's future. Find all of our shows by searching IBJ Media in your podcast app or visit ibjpodcasts.com.